Hello, you beautiful ones in Christ. Nice to see you all again today. I just wanted to share something that came to my mind today. And you see by the subject of this video, knowledge is the stumbling block to Christ. And the reason I'm discussing this is having a look at Genesis 3:15 and looking at it spiritually. And we saw that man was made perfect in the flesh at that time, but they weren't perfect in the spirit. They desired the knowledge of good and evil. If Adam and Eve were perfect spiritually, they would not have desired knowledge, as they would have had no need of anything. But they desired wisdom and understanding, which in turn made sin manifest. And that's why they felt shame. Sin became manifest through seeking knowledge. And in Genesis 3:15, Messiah is first mentioned, where he would strike Satan a fatal blow, which he did do at the cross. And all that Satan was able to do was strike the heel of Christ, which symbolically meant it was just a scratch and he had no power over Messiah. But moving on, the two seeds that oppose one another are the ones seeking knowledge of good and evil, and the ones seeking spirit and truth. Man has sought after knowledge of good and evil, and he found it in ancient religious texts. And so sin is manifest to the whole world and has been ever since. The more knowledge we seek, the more sin is manifest, or darkness is manifest in our lives. And it's not until we seek the living God, who we know is not far from each one of us, that sin becomes less known to us, and we see no darkness or sin, wrath or judgment from the records of good and evil. When we see only the light of Christ, we no longer look or see darkness, and should have less and less desire for knowledge, as you are complete in Him. I'm asking you, has mankind got it all upside down? And to find God, we have to stop seeking knowledge once we know, or it became known, that He was made available to all to become one with. Messiah did away with knowledge at the cross, because He made Himself known to all, not by what is written, but what He did. And so because of what He did, we know He's not very far from each one of us, and desires to become one with His creation. But we will make it hard for ourselves by continuing to seeking knowledge of good and evil. And the more that we study, seek and knowledge of the same old things, the more that sin or darkness will always be manifest in our lives, and we will never see Messiah. And when He's trying to make Himself manifest in you, you will not see Him or perceive Him, because your mind is on the seeking of knowledge of good and evil. And this is where it is. This is why you sin, because of that. Because the knowledge of good and evil is in the written text. And we know the written text has no life. It is the living word that gives life. That is not very far from each one of us. So looking at that Genesis spiritually perhaps might give a little bit different perspective of how we are stumbling around looking for our Messiah. because he's not very far from each one of us. if we stop desiring knowledge of good and evil. Yeah, knowledge is the stumbling block to Jesus Christ. Peace.